So I would say my first business started actually in university. My first way of raising capital was to start tutorials. So I started doing tutorials, and I started making some small money from there. Gradually, that same business graduated into doing programming codes and even helping people with that. I was helping 400 students with their computer projects, software, code it, print it, and the likes. Now, second problem. You see, sometimes skills alone don't solve your problem. Business can be taught, but there's something that also has to be instinct that knowledge can work with. From there, I started my first company, unofficial, unregistered. Until I graduated from university, that was sustaining me, and I didn't really have to ask for money from home. Then after graduation, I'll come to real estate. They said Lagos is the bubbling. I studied in Ogun State, by the way. They said Lagos is the bubbling way. Once you come, there's money on the streets of Ikorodu Road. Just open your bag and we're packing it. So I came to Lagos with 3 shirts and 2 trousers, a backpack, and a laptop. I just approached one of the big egbons that, oh, please, I can work in your company. This is what I do. It's a software developing company, right? So I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So I started working there. And me, I can work for free. So money was not coming like that because I understand that my boss too was even struggling to keep the business running. So no pressure. So I discovered, okay, how can I solve my problem? I started living in the office. So I work Monday to Sunday, Sunday to Monday. From there, I go to church and the likes. Fast forward, yes, I had an idea and I built the first products. And yes, the solution started growing gradually and revenue started coming small. So I wanted to go the tech way. I started pitching my idea. Hey, I do this, I do this, I do this. But the language I was speaking, finance people were not understanding it. I was just talking tech and passion. This is the feature that will be in it. This is what it can do, this, that. So I couldn't raise money. So I went back to my grind. So the next thing was I started looking inwards. How can I survive? How can my business survive? How else can this business grow? Cut expenses. So about, I think 7 or 8 years ago, when Yaba used to have stable power supply. So I never had a reason to buy a generator. Then they started complaining about generators that I can't run generator, you're disturbing neighbors and all those things. So what's the alternative way of getting power? So I just saw online that, inverters work. I'm a physics electronics graduate for crying loud. I'm practical with electronics. Okay, I bought one Chinese inverter. I used to drive one wreck German SUV there that drains batteries very fast. So there was a battery that they said is too weak for it. So I carried that battery, connected with that inverter. I had 6 hours of power every night. Said, oh, yes, good, this works. So no petrol. Because during the day, when I'm away, NEPA brings light. When I'm out in the night, when I want to work, that's when they decide to take their light. So that started solving my problem. Then back to the office, Yaba had stable power. And for some weird reason, day 1, power was out. Day 2, power was out. What was going on? So I started importing the same type of inverter I used at home. I started bringing it to the office to solve power problem. And for some reason, there was a time that power was so out for so long that we couldn't even keep power charged in a battery. And that's where solar panels came. So I started using solar panels. And this is what the problem was. I had a challenge in terms of budgeting and saying that this is my cost for power. You can't keep going like this without a clear budget. I've never raised anything. How do I survive with this? So I discovered that I had to double down on the alternative energy approach. So gradually, we ramped up some investment in it, and that solution scaled up. Then that same business, COVID-19 came. A lot of people say that tech businesses, you will flourish. It's during COVID that you flourish. My case was different. I was dealing with schools. You get paid for the software when parents pay school fees. Students are out of the school. So how do I survive? So I started downsizing, and an idea came. The same solution I was selling to schools, I discovered that businesses also need it. Learning management, training. Okay, good. The payment a business will pay you for 1 year to maintain a software is what you beg and plead the school, please don't cut my money. And they'll still pay you 60%. So I saw that diversification. In the midst of that, after we got out of that, we had to invest in a lot of media equipment in terms of recording content that we want to share for LMS. Fast forward after COVID, okay, we are not doing content again. Camera is there. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on cameras and lenses. And one of my egbons there just advised that, see, these cameras you have, sometimes in Nollywood, they don't even use this quality. Why can't you guys make a business out of it? So, by the way, that's how Revocube Media was born. That's how business number 2 was born. Number 3, a friend approached me and said, do you know in Yaba, you can buy a 25-year lease studio apartment for 5 million naira. 5 million naira. Okay. It's not bad. I didn't plan to come into real estate. That's how I found myself in real estate. And by now, I think we've owned a couple of properties with build structures, even in prime areas in Yaba and the likes. So that's business number 3. Now, business number 4. The advice my guy gave me several years ago. Software engineers need to go for support. A business called and said, my app is not working. Blah, blah, blah. And a school called at the same time. The same team was supporting them. They were confused of who to attend or who to prioritize. In that moment, that was a light bulb moment that this is what this guy told me some years ago. Service from products. So the school software became another business, which is called business number 4, school reps. Now, these businesses are now around. There's another problem. This business needs a car. They bought car. This one needs accountant, got accountant. This one needs this. And I discovered they had shared services. It doesn't make sense. All of you hired your own accountant. You were this. And business number 5 was created, which is now a business that manages all of those shared services. The last business, which is one of the youngest businesses, the energy business, and one of the fastest business. And the last business came out of the need where I just did that to cut my costs, like I said, providing solar for my businesses. Then at some point, some people came from a bank and like, we've been investing in inverter for many years. We still spend millions on diesel. If you can figure it out like this, come and do it for us. And that's how that business was born. I powered oil and gas, I powered factories, I powered a lot of things. And that is how business number 6 was created. And that business number 6, we had situations where, as I look at the yard, we're still spending millions fueling our petrol cars. How much is this electric car safe? So we went to do research. And I discovered that if you're not trying to film a big man, you have not arrived. You can buy electric cars as low as 15 million, 20 million. How much is Tokumbo 2? Same price. Oh yeah, bought first fleet of electric cars, charge you free electricity, cancel transportation. In my office now, before you can take a petrol car out, the number of emails and calls you make, you will shall. And that was how we started dealing with fleets of electric vehicles. And because we deal with it, questions, people are asking questions, who can fix it? And that's how we became one of the major people in that industry, providing infrastructure for electric vehicles and everything. I have people in each of these subsidiaries that have the capacity to run those subsidiaries. And me, I'm just a people broker. Bring this set of people together and let us work. Thank you very much.